Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whoever you are, wherever you are, welcome to the Pit Stop. We're glad to have you aboard tonight. We're glad that you've decided to face the new year with us. We're all here together, still out here advocating for good mental health. And we got a good one for you tonight. And moving forward into Sunday, just gonna give you a little peek and what's up on our Sunday show. But here we are at the Pit Stop, right? Changing up the pathway to how we talk about mental health. And not just that, having some fun on the lighter side and just getting to it, getting with it, getting through it. And we have our hot spot to the show tonight. Oh, just so you know, this is the Grand Queen. And we have our hot spots of the show tonight. Our oh so opulent, our very own, the opulent one, Shannon Gray Chappelle. Hey, Shannon,
Hello.
much love,
Hey,
much
how are
love.
you? How are you?
Oh, I am good and yourself. Glad to see you.
I'm glad to be
Glad to
here.
be together. Exactly. Glad to
Glad
be
to be
together
here.
for
Yes.
sure. And you're feeling good,
I'm
making
feeling a
it
lot
through.
better than I was. Absolutely.
So happy about that. And we got
Yes.
our amazing Trey Wiz, our producer, that apple that is a part of this phenomenal tree. Our
What's up,
Shannon
y'all?
Gray
Yep.
How you
Chappelle's
doing?
son.
Hey,
He is.
hey.
Listen. I've already adopted him. He's my son too. He's our producer.
Exactly.
He's
Thank you.
so many things. He wears so many hats and shoes
Yes.
and more. And we
Appreciate
Mm-hmm.
appreciate
that.
you. We appreciate you and our
Sure
one.
do.
So here
Thank
we
you.
Thank you,
are,
guys. I appreciate y'all.
absolutely at the pit stop. And listen, this is, again, he's our media producer. This is his baby. This is
Mm-hmm.
his
Indeed.
baby. This is his
Indeed.
baby. Just so y'all know, this is his baby. And we're just happy to just share with him. And those of you who have been sticking with us since before the new year, we are just
Mm-hmm.
glad that you still stay with us. And for those who are still thinking about it, stop thinking about it. Just stop it and come on through. I'm
You
just
don't have to
saying.
think too deeply.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come
You
on
know,
by.
because it's about the vibes. We got some good vibes here. And sometimes,
Yeah.
things happen. It could be good, bad, ugly, and nasty. That's
Hmm.
okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to get with it. So tonight, we are calling all Gen Zs. And some people like, oh my God, why do we have to be called Gen Zs? Why do we have to be called boomers? Just want to identify more with who we are in this time and as we pass through. Every generation is different. Not to say that you are what the tag says you are. We want to identify and make sure we are helping people meet their journey, helping people get through their journey. So
Of
tonight
course.
we got some little vibes for the Gen Zs. And do we have any Gen Zs in the house?
Possibly.
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 All right. All right. I hear somebody. I see somebody waving their hand, or maybe they're like, I don't know if I need to reveal that, but that's okay. But
Right.
it's whoever it catches.
Whoever
Yes.
catches.
And we're talking about, the vibes that families are going through, the things that families need while they are living with Gen Zs. Gen Zs and a whole bunch of other different generations are living together. You've got Gen Zs, you've got millennials, you've got Generation X.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're gonna get into that another time. Well, we always talk about that on a regular, different generations. It's
Yeah.
just how we are able to live and changes. The economy has changed.
Oh,
It's
yes.
not like, it's not like it well, I can't say like it used to be. It's always changing. So we have to be ready for the change, right? So
Indeed.
tonight again, Gen Z's come on through. See us you'll see it going across the screen. You'll see us at Facebook. Just stop it at Facebook. You also see us at Just Us at our new YouTube page. And you also get to see us at Simple Not Basic 2023 at IG. And you also get to see us at Grand Queen at TikTok. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything we have, all our platforms are are at Facebook, so you can go on Facebook and just stop in and see all of us, see all of our platforms there. And please chime in. Simple, not basic. Chime in. Tell us what you want in mental health care support. Just tell us, maybe you just don't even want to talk about mental health. Maybe you want to talk about a whole different subject. Still,
Yes.
everything we do leads to some type of mental health, something to do with our emotional self.
Indeed.
So yeah, Gen
Yeah.
Zs, we need to hear from you. We've got baby boomers, we've got
All different
Generation
generations.
X, all
Oh yeah.
generations are living together. Generation X is 1965 to 1980. Gen Zs or Generation Z is 1997 to 2012. People were born in those in
Hmm.
that era. Boomers, which I didn't even know there was boomers too.
Yeah.
Boomers too is 1955. People were born 1955 to 1964 is boomers too, and also Generation Jones. Wow, who knew?
Mm?
What, I don't even know what a
You said
Generation Jones
generation
is.
what? I never
Jones?
heard of that.
Generation Jones. I've never heard of that either.
I haven't
I'm
heard of
just
that
finding
either.
out about boomers too. We
Hmm.
got to find out about Generation Jones, Jones. What is that, Gen Zs? Tell us
I'm gonna
about it.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I
I
am
wish I had my
too.
other
Absolutely.
phone. I wish I had my other phone so that I can look it up on the fly and tell you what the definition is. I never knew it. I never heard that.
Yeah.
Never even heard that.
Generation Jones is people born from 1955 to 1964. We got this one is sticking to us
Oh,
here. We got to check out what is this Generation Jones. Then you
I have the
got boomers.
definition.
Got it. Go with it, opulent one. What is that?
Okay. Generation Jones is the cohort born roughly between 1955 and 1965,
Okay.
sandwiched right between the baby boomers and Generation X. This generation came of age during a time of profound sociological change, and their experiences were heavily influenced by the cultural and political shifts in the 60s and the 70s. That's the definition of
Wow.
Okay.
Generation Jones.
Thank you for that, mommy.
Okay.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
opulent one. That sounds like the hippie era. Almost sounds like the hippie era. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Sounds like the hippie era.
sandwiched in
Generation
between.
Jones. I'm
Interesting.
sandwiched in between, like right now, like a cookie. You know, it's good to know
Yes.
these things because sometimes it reflects, it looks like to me, it does reflect on the economy, our finances, and how we
Hmm.
operate in society. Generation Jones, who knew? Now we
I
know,
didn't know
right,
to the
family?
day. Yeah, always
Now
Yeah.
we
learning.
know. Of
Glad to
course,
take something, back with us when we get offline. So something I can look into and
Yes.
read about. I didn't know about. I never heard in
Yes.
my life. Never heard about that till just now. So thank you.
No,
never knew about
you're
Yeah.
very
Generation
welcome.
Jones. I want to talk with some Generation Jones people
Hmm.
and
Let's see what
ask
y'all got to
them,
say.
yeah, what do Generation Jones people? I've
Oh,
heard what the boomers have. Boomers one is 1946 to 1957, and I still didn't know there were two categories of boomers. Boomers one and boomers two. Boomers one is 1946 to 1954, and boomers two again is this Generation Jones. I got it. We got to talk to some people and find out what's the difference. What are their experiences in mental health and their era? What do they want to talk about? This is phenomenal.
I want to know when they start to come up with, and that makes me want to figure out when they started to come up with these
These
terms
terms.
to understand and
oh,
categorize different mental health issues. Because at one point in
mhm.
time, obviously from not having TVs and telephones and cell phones and stuff to now having access to anything we want to look up. So I'm
Yes.
interested to see what that generation had available. Did you have anything available?
Exactly.
Was it just a mystery? Were did you have an
Yes.
idea? I would love to know that. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you know.
that leads to the
Hmm.
post-war era. That leads to the post-war age,
Hmm.
what they call the silent generation. You guys ever heard of the silent generation?
No.
I have not.
That's people born from 1928 to 1945.
Mm.
The silent generation, they were born amidst tough economic times and political instability. They
Right.
also are
Hmm.
similar to Gen Zs,
Hmm.
because Gen Zs were born in an economic and difficult time because,
Yeah.
many struggled because of economics. and because of political fallout. So it kind
Mhm.
of like they're kind of similar, but with Gen Z, they do things differently and they have technology. That's how they thrive with technology, opposed
Indeed.
to, opposed to the post-war baby boomers and the generation Jones. What y'all
Hmm.
say about that?
What were you getting ready to say, mommy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking up all of this. I have the laptop open right now.
Right.
Cool.
I'll look up anything in a minute.
Absolutely.
I
That's why you the opulent one.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hmm
Hmm.
you know what? You have to. I guess at one point, society wanted to put different ideas and thoughts and situations of
Yes.
certain generations
Yes.
into some type of category because the same problem someone that was born in 19, let's say 47, versus what's going on in 2024
Right.
was a little bit different. You didn't have the same issues, but in the turn to play, both sides, you did. You just had it in a different way.
Indeed.
Um, when you have, racial discrimination and, Jim Crow and that type of stuff, that was prevalent, really
Oh yeah.
prevalent in a certain, era.
Right.
But I won't say that it has changed so much for the better or for the worse
Right.
in generation, in a certain generation. Now I'm a part of Generation X.
Right.
Um, I don't have right now what you know
What
date
timeline?
that's between that
Yeah.
timeline is, but I do know I'm part of Generation X. So
Yeah,
so each
65 to 80. Mm-hmm.
yeah, 65 to
1965 to
80.
1980. Mm-hmm.
Telling all my business, I was born in 1976.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Ah,
I think around that time,
Mm,
I always heard I was a bicentennial baby because of 1776, that year.
yeah, of course.
But
oh wow.
we were in different points, I guess, in 76 than we are now. So that's
Exactly.
the overall point I'm trying to make. Things are different in a way because the era has changed, but we
Hmm.
still have the same problem. You
But
know?
Yeah.
do you think without
Mhm.
interrupting you, mommy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But do
Uh,
y'all think that that was even because I'm thinking it made me rethink about things we already knew about like Jim Crow and stuff. Do
yeah.
you
Yeah.
think did we even have a space for that, honestly? Because we were so focused on trying to be human, number
Mm,
one, in
okay.
society. Did you think we even had space to we were avoiding and we still like are just now getting into really being okay talking
hmm
about mental health as a people. Do you really
Yeah.
think we even was that
Had
even thought
this
about?
had this
Do we have a
space in previous eras.
y-
I'm saying eras, but
well
it's
the yeah the
ERA.
era of like one I'm talking about the era of our people that had to that were really in the hardcore
hmm
middle of Jim Crow and dealing with segregation and those things. So I'm saying we are in a clear space now where we have certain issues that we still deal with, but we can't call
Yeah.
we can't say, oh, we weren't allowed on the bus today, or this year we couldn't ride public transit, so we didn't have the same
Okay.
dealings. You see what I'm
Uh huh.
trying to say?
We
But
didn't have that particular problem now,
right, right,
but there is still, some things will never go away in my eye. You would
yeah,
never, racism would never end. You
yeah,
know, um, Jim Crow in a way would never end. We just call it something different now.
right, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's just tackling the discrimination part of it. Of course, um, we've always had um, mental health, issues from the beginning of time, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned. We just didn't know what it was. And I want to stop my point for one moment because we have a person in here that says no sound check, y'all sound.
Check y'all.
I don't.
Oh, that's
Oh,
DJ Slicky
okay.
Woo Boo. I know who that is. Shout out to DJ Slicky Woo Boo for even
Oh,
stopping
see,
by in
we
the
see.
first place.
Okay, thank you for
um,
coming. 'Cause
Thank
I
you,
couldn't tell
DJ.
whether you couldn't hear us or what if there was an issue. But let
if
me
it's
say
too
this.
loud or whatever, let us know.
Yeah. But let me say this, Trayvon.
Yes,
We've always had, and you probably heard me say this over and over and over again. It's probably, getting really repetitive. But this is not the first time that there has been signs of people having some type of mental illness, just like they have a headache.
indeed,
We just didn't know what it was, and we didn't know how to react to it. We didn't know what to do with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
exactly,
So
exactly.
I do think if you want to tie in, when we were talking about Jim Crow and that type of thing for people of color, African
Yes,
American people of color,
yes,
I don't think that helped with the mental, stability of you,
yes,
because there's a couple factors in there. I mean, you're being constantly in fear of
yes,
something and on guard of something all the time in your surroundings. You're being told you're less than not all the time, one way or another. You have to move differently in the street. Um, so, it's always been an issue. Do you see what I'm saying? Certain
understood.
things have
Exactly.
always been an issue. We always struggled with things, but it goes like an onion. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper than that. You
Exactly.
did not, and I'll say this: you did not talk about mental illness. You've heard me
Very
say
true,
that many times. You didn't talk
very
about
true.
it. A lot of people didn't know what it was. You did not want to let anybody know you produced a child that had this,
Yes,
that's lack of
issue or
education,
problem.
that
Yes,
issue
Yeah,
or that
stigma.
problem. I think
Exactly.
that women were harshly judged because they produced children, which was one of the
yes,
main, I guess, functions or duties at a certain time period, that she
yes,
should be able to have children. She
yes.
produces children that have issues.
Hmm.
And now we know that's not
Yeah,
true.
that's not. Yeah,
It don't work
but
that
Exactly.
way.
a lot of
But we
history.
know how it's looked at.
Yeah,
hmm
I was.
Your,
I was. Oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
But I'll say this really quick. Like my plane,
Hmm.
you were looked at as your sole purpose, or your primary purpose was to be able to produce children as a wife, especially, and produce sons, which was really,
Yes,
beginning of time. If you were able to produce a male child, especially
yes,
first, you were really on high regard as a woman. I hate to
yes,
say that, but that's just what it was. And you
Yeah,
produced a
and it still
child
holds
that,
true. Mm-hmm.
very true. You produce a child
Mm-hmm.
that has this issue, so you produce, excuse me for saying this, uh, dysfunctional, messed up children.
right.
Now, don't take that to heart, but that's what the
Yes,
thought was.
yes,
So we dealing with a whole new different thing, but it's in a different way.
right. Okay.
To answer your question, in my opinion.
Yes. What do you think
hmm
Absolutely.
about? What do you
Absolutely.
think, Professor? As far
Yes.
as, and I'll repeat it and reiterate. I was just, if you remember the question, that's okay. But I was just asking about going through obviously the different times, different eras, and things that we're dealing with. I feel like a lot more so now. It's easier to discuss these things. We have, we don't have the same dealings. We're not really as worried about being in certain areas at night and being, we just some of the things we don't
hmm
have on our backs anymore. So the same thing I
Exactly.
was asking my mom was like, do you think we even had a space at all back then? Like, did you the capacity? I think is the right word. Did we have the capacity to even
Yeah.
take that on? That's what I want to know.
Well, we have the capacity now, and what it did, it started happening gradually.
Yes,
Um, and I have to say, through people like Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, those people, Coretta Scott King, just to name a few. We all know who they are in the history books, but our new folks, I have to say, because come to find out, I'm a Generation Jones. I'm a GJ. So I'm a GJ. So during my
Uh,
era, we had I had there were opportunities. We did have a voice, but it was, I have to say, it wasn't as strong as it is now because of
understood.
technology. We didn't have as much, a quarter of technology. We had, everything was word of mouth. Everything was face to face. We did have some racial disparities. We did have some racial incidents, we had them, but we came together as in conversation.
Yes.
We came together
Mm,
in deeds. We came together as activists. We came together in events. We addressed it that
mm,
way. We went to Congress straight. We were in Congress space. We were in legislature space. Now, I have to say our voice is incredibly stronger now because Gen Z said, listen, we got technology and we keep
Yeah.
improving this technology. It's going to help us speak louder with the pen. And my era said it was the power of the pen. You know,
Yes.
now this era, Generation Z, and combined with Generation X
mm,
and Generation Jones, become stronger because of technology and the
Yeah.
engagement. So thank God, yes, we've come a long
mm,
way and we've grown much more stronger than before. And not only that, the approach that Generation Z uses to for mental health is unique. They have because they have a unique perspective, and the household composition has changed since my era.
Yes.
Um, now you have different. I have to say how not just household compositions. You have different financial aspects within the household. You have multi
Yes.
generational and intergenerational perspectives to deal with. So Gen Zs, they have a lot more to contend with than we did.
But
Not to say that we didn't, but what they have to contend with shapes their experience, and they are very vocal about it.
but
Um,
now this is my last question. I don't want to cut you out, but I wanted to catch you in a moment where there was like
mm,
a natural pause. I wanted to ask you guys. Now, this is my opinion. I feel like in that time back then, without the technology, I feel like it would have been way more, and it is and was way more impactful because I feel like when you had to do the legwork and go to those meetings and you had to,
okay,
after you got out
okay,
work, you had to work there. You didn't just watch it live
right,
from your
right,
phone and you didn't.
right.
So I see technology being an advancement as far as getting it out to people. But I feel like, and I'm going to turn this into a question, but I feel like the easy access to people for people to just punch into a stream and just watch for a few minutes and jump back out. I don't think the seriousness is there. I don't think the impact is there. I think the ability to get your what you want to say out there is it might be easier, but I think there's a negative side to this technology because people are have so much to look at that they're consumed by so much that they don't really divide their attention and energy towards something specific anymore. So to
Yeah.
turn this into a question for you and my mom, starting with
mm.
my mom, I want to ask mommy, um do you think there's a negative effect of like is technology more helpful or do you think it's setting us back anyway?
Well, I think it's doing a combination of both.
Okay.
You know, just like when we had to write letters to each other,
Yes.
you know, that morphed into emails to each other. You
Yes.
know, then it morphed into
Absolutely.
something else. So as we progressed and our technology became more advanced, I
Mm.
think we lost the human side a little bit of that communication. So
The
you couldn't
word you use,
see,
Professor, desensitized. The word that you
Yeah.
yeah,
used in that email.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. You
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
yeah. That's a great word, desensitized.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because we were more about trying to, um, I don't know what the word, but we were trying to become much more advanced consistently that we
Yes.
lost the element of it. You know, I'm online right now and I'm looking at the Gen X stuff. And
Homework.
what I
We got
did
homework now.
notice, got homework.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
what I noticed as far as one of the big things that they just showed was a huge picture of a computer. You know, we've
Oh
had some
wow.
type of computer system,
Yeah.
um, and because it's very interesting. We all three of us represent, I guess, an era
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
I
Generation
love
X
that.
type of
And I love
stuff.
that too.
Yes. It's so
Yeah, so
cool.
I come behind, you know, and even Olivia is in a different
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
bracket. She's
Yes.
Gen Z. She's a Gen Z,
Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is, um, the first thing I saw was a computer, and it was, you know, the first computer that you saw
Yeah.
way back when. Do you know what I mean? Of
Yeah.
course, I'm on something that's probably about this thin. But I'm
Yes.
saying that to say that Um, Not even along with that was different, platforms and different things. So
Yes.
I think overall, even technology, as far as communication, as far as how we move every
Yes.
day, is about speed, convenience, and never and slowly I feel like it's taking away from the human side of things.
Yes.
Even if
Okay.
you Another example, even if you had a microwave, microwave was to quickly was to
Yeah.
quickly heat up something.
Yes.
But now
Yeah.
we're at a point of cooking full meals in it. And that's a
Right.
crazy
Wow.
funny example, but the main point of what I'm trying to say is it's all about where's the human side of certain
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So if we
Exactly.
technology is as good as you use it for, but you've got to put in um, the interaction, and it has to be
Understood.
meaningful interaction very quick. I hate
Understood.
to say it, but people want to be entertained in a sense too.
Very
Yeah.
true.
If
Very
you don't
true.
catch
Yeah.
them, there's a thing that they say that when you write a paper or you even perform a poem, if you don't catch them in the first 2 minutes or minute or so, you lost them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
we're
Yeah.
true.
dealing with that too. I can go on and on and on and on and on to
Hmm.
answer that question because again, it has so many avenues.
Very
It
true.
has it has things that are beneficial and it has things that are very harmful. But
Exactly.
you got to cultivate it to take advantage of the availability, the ability to be able to communicate in a different way and to reach the masses because this is how we do it now.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Exactly. And we
But
have to
then
be
you still
careful.
have to, yeah, you still have to make sure that you keep the human side in it. And I think
Yes.
we kind of lost that.
Exactly.
To answer your question,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Good answer, mommy. Thank
Yeah.
you. I want to,
You're
Yeah.
we're
welcome.
running up on that 30-minute mark, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to
That's all right.
direct the same question to you before we close out, Professor. I want to ask you, and of course, whatever shout outs, closing remarks we have, it's on our time. This is our show, but I want to ask you the same question. So, do you think there's any, of course, I gave my take, my mom gave her take, but I want to know, with you being one of the one of the generation, what do you call it? The the Joneses,
The
pretty
Generation
much.
Jones.
The
I'm
The
the
Joneses.
generation,
GJ.
yeah, you are the Joneses. You're the
Generation
ones we're trying to keep
Jones.
up with.
I'm the
Yeah,
the
we
Joneses.
trying to keep up with
Right.
Yeah.
you.
Oh my
So I want to
God.
ask you the
You know,
same question.
that's a
I have to
woo,
make that connection. I just thought about that, but
that
you
is
really the ones we're trying to
true.
follow after.
Hmm.
So
Oh
so let me ask
man.
you the same question. I want to ask, do
Wow.
you think there was any negative coming from a generation that came before both of ours to see everything that we've seen and then twofold? Do you think there's any negative sides or what are the negatives and positives to you when it comes to technology and integrating that with mental health? Like our access, do you think there's negatives and positives?
Well, it just blew my mind that what you just
You
said,
one of the
Trayvon.
Joneses.
I'm one of the
You one of the
Joneses, and
Joneses.
that's
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of bells and whistles to that. That's
Hmm.
trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
That's been a
Yes.
problem in my mind. Pros
Right.
and
Hmm.
cons to that is, from my generation until now, there's so many different pros and cons. However, the fact of the matter is what we're facing, how we face it, our emotional intelligence. We're super smart. Gen
Oh
Zs
yes.
and millennials, we haven't forgotten about you. Millennials, I hear somebody saying, listen, what happened to millennials?
I
1981,
know.
1996 folk.
Yeah. What about
Millennials, we haven't
us?
forgotten about you because you're part of that, the household composition. And yeah, you guys are all important because we all face things and we all are making changes. And we do shape the future and the present. Now, the pros and cons is, again, the emotional self is affected by technology, um, and it's not enough balance. That is the
Yes.
the the con.
Hmm.
The balance part, the pro part is that how people engage. That's the bottom
Yes.
line. That's
Hmm.
how
I feel
Gen
you
Z's
after
and
that.
millennials engage. That's the bottom line. So but however, as our opulent one said, our Gen Z and Jones is saying to you guys is that we need each other so we can all flow in the same direction. You
Yes.
got to
Hmm.
also have these face to face. The pros is to
Yes.
have face to face. conversations. The pros is to have face-to-face meetings with our local leaders, our upper echelon of leaders. The pros
Yes.
is to bring more awareness in different events, and be careful of how we engage in the media, because it can
Very
become
true.
a crapshoot.
Oh,
We could become
Very
little
true.
lambs going to the slaughter. I'm just saying.
Very true. Very true, though.
Yes,
Good
and
answer.
the
yes.
thing is, and another pro is millennials and Gen Zs. They know what they want in time. Once
Right.
Generation Jones shows them, they become like they show the pathway. Then Generation Z shows them the pathway, and they begin to put it together. They're super smart. Again, they put those things together, but they do it their way. That's just how it is. That's the pro. But the con is they got to know that we're there for them.
Yes.
They have to know that we are not only there for them, that we respect them, because many of them
Yes.
feel very disrespected by my generation. I'm just saying. I've had many
Understood.
conversations, and they're always saying, the first thing they say is, your generation doesn't understand. They always come out from the left side of their mouth saying what they used to do during their time. And they say it's not their time. And I say to them, it's all of our time. This is all of our times. And once we engage and graft that in, that this is our time, I believe we will be able to eliminate those cons and put in more pros. I'm just saying.
I like
And we
that.
like
I
to
like
hear
that
what
answer.
DJ Sticky's saying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Sticky, we don't know what you're catching. If you're catching it, we don't know what generation you from, but we'd like to hear what you got to what you have to
I
say.
think DJ Slicky, if I'm not mistaken, not to put out your age, DJ Slicky, but I think he is 65, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken.
He's a GJ. He's Generation
Yeah.
Jones. He's the Joneses.
That part. But
Possibly.
one positive thing that I actually will say is, and I thought about this just recently, your big sister is someone who isn't a user of technology, but is starting to get onto like social media platforms to even check out what we're talking about.
All right,
Obviously,
Sister Margaret.
I'm talking about Grammy.
I give
So
your
she
dad.
doesn't, she's starting
exactly. Girl.
So she's
All
starting
right.
to and watching her go from number one, she has an iPhone 14 or whatever, so watching the level up in technology from
All right,
teaching her
girl. She's doing better than me.
exactly. So to teach her how to get into to watch her go from getting into text messages and how to text and how to send emojis and all of that and how to use a computer. So to watch her go from that to be able to chime in and figure out how to watch our lives and stuff and getting into technology. She's actually at her age, she's getting into technology. So it's nice that there's a platform that's bringing people that don't normally use it to this. So that's one positive outlook that I see.
Yeah, that's a plus. Listen, I love that, Miss Mark. I love that, my big sister, because so many. There you go, girl. You so many of my generation. So many people from my generation. They're like, how many times I've heard them. This was pre-COVID. These were pre-COVID conversations.
Oh yeah.
Before COVID pulled the curtain. And they were saying they weren't into technology and they didn't feel the need for it. And they like more live conversations. They like to do things more face to face. I said, yes, we need that. I said, but what if things just stop?
Yes.
What if God said, I'm pulling the curtain. Y'all ain't communicating no more. Y'all ain't talking to each other no more. Y'all ain't saying nothing. As I used to hear a pastor say, y'all ain't saying nothing. What if there was no way that you could speak or call somebody from the phone? You could in person, is what I'm saying. What if you couldn't do that anymore? What if you had to, if there was a curfew? What if there was something that just snatched that opportunity, that thing from you, and you couldn't? What would you do? And they didn't have an answer. And didn't it happen? How many times I share, listen, you got to get into some type of knowledge, have some knowledge of technology, use it wisely, catch it, deal with it, because you are definitely going to need it. And now here we are doing everything on what? Online. Banking, everything. Buying houses online.
I'm going to get a church finger. I'm going to do the church finger. I'm raising my hand. Teacher, professor.
Teacher,
Well, here's the
for
thing
sure,
too.
opulent one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do this. Now
yeah,
we can clearly say, hey, everybody needs to get with it and learn technology. True enough. But think of a time like I think you might have just said. What would we do if we need to revert back from technology?
Yes.
So the
exactly.
people that didn't have those things, clearly they have gotten along and they have thrived. So you got to have a combination of both to speak to all people, because if you were born, if you're 100 years old, and I don't want to discriminate against the age, you may not be thinking about,
Yeah,
you
that's
Yeah.
the
know,
silent age.
trying to
That's
get
the
on a
silent
trying to get
generation.
on an
Yeah,
Hmm.
iPhone. These are the
yeah,
people. So we got to put respect on their name now, and say, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna
exactly,
be able to reach you too, but we have a
Exactly.
exactly.
new way of
Very
doing
true.
things. We would like you to learn it. We would like you to understand it if you can. We're gonna reach the masses, but you got to reach back to those that don't have these things.
Very
Exactly.
What
true.
And make
happened to them?
provisions.
Let's
Yeah,
not
Make
it's
forget
true.
anybody.
provisions.
Anybody.
Because even though you have something electronically, what I've always learned, in working, you may have technology, but you got to have a hard copy somewhere
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you
In
do.
for
case
You
that
do.
backup.
In
fails.
several
In case it
places.
fails. That
Yeah,
email
several
doesn't send
places.
over, or that computer shuts down,
Exactly.
or the power
Uh
goes
huh.
out. Yes.
Exactly.
Goes out,
Yes.
and we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off.
Oh my God,
So,
I've done it
so
before. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
figuring out how to speak to everyone is so imperative,
Yes.
because you're going to lose the people that you can't reach with technology.
Very
Technology is
true.
Exactly.
great, but that's where I speak of the human face. you know
Yes.
and let's
Yes.
throw this in here too. What about somebody that may not be able to read very well,
Yes.
Truth.
or anything
Truth.
like that? How do you reach them? They have the right to be reached as well, and not condemned because they can't use an iPhone.
Right. Very
Absolutely.
true.
Absolutely.
Whatever your
Or they can't
situation
afford it.
is,
It's true.
or you
Yeah.
can't afford
Yeah.
it, you can't afford a
Hmm.
computer.
Right.
There's some people, I know
Exactly.
some people that don't trust the computer because they're afraid that the little camera, I hate to say it,
Right.
is
It's
somehow,
true.
they're being exposed
Would invade their
somehow,
privacy. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
their privacy.
Yeah.
They covered their camera on their
Hmm.
on their laptops if they got one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you had one because you had one. But that's another story,
Right.
y'all. You know.
But it's
So
true. It's a part of it. It's a part of it, opulent one.
yeah,
It's a very much a part of it. It's true. It's so true. So now we are reaching everybody, and that's the one
yeah.
good thing. That's another good thing about us, about our team. We
Mhm.
are the one-stop shop of mental health support, and we intend to. We're talking about families, not just Generation Z. We're talking about families catching it, catching the message, understanding and engaging in the movement. We need everybody. We need baby boomers 1 and 2, Generation Jones. We need post-war folks, the silent generation, millennials. We need
Everybody.
everybody on board. Calling everybody. You know how they say calling Gen Zs, calling this one. And that's
Yeah.
everybody by name, because we acknowledge you. We acknowledge that we need each other. Right. And we also know, according to Jeremiah 29:10-11, the prophet was saying, I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not abandon you, plans to give you the future you hope for. So we got a future, and we have that future together. Sometimes we have to do things apart but together. It happened during COVID, and here we are at another time, full of bacteria and more problems and situations than ever. More pros and cons than ever. But we will cope, because as long as we have love, and our Trey Wiz said that the other night, love.
Yes.
We need love. We need love. Love makes the world go round. Love makes things happen. Sometimes slowly, and sometimes, and definitely surely, slowly but surely, love makes things happen. And we love you like no other, as God does. And we want you to join us. We'd like for you to just keep exploring with us. Explore with us this coming Sunday. We're not finished with this. We are not finished with this topic. First of all, we
Mhm.
found out exactly where we stand, a little bit more of where we stand in society, from
Mhm.
generation to generation. And we're going to come back at you, come back with you on Sunday. We have not abandoned you. We will never abandon you. So you'll see us on different platforms. And please write in, like us, and subscribe at YouTube. Like us and chat with us. Talk back with us across our platform pages. Tell us what you want. Tell us about your generation, your experiences, and the pros and cons of your experiences, financially even. Because we talk about we are living with so many different households. What is that experience like? Opposed
Indeed.
to just living with mother, father, sisters, and brothers. I mean, everybody's living in a household now. Mother, father, or just mother, single mothers, single fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa. Everybody's living together because financial situations. So we'd like to hear your experience and the kind of mental health support you think that people need, or that people need, because your experiences are real. And they would give us more of understanding on where
and
to
they
go
matter.
from there.
They matter to us.
It matters. They matter to us for sure, Trey Wiz. So we gonna be up out of here. We just thank you. And again, DJ Sticky.
DJ Slicky Woo Boo.
I love Slicky. What is this? Slicky.
DJ Slicky Woo Boo.
DJ Sticky. DJ Slicky. We thank you for being with us tonight. And listen, we don't take anything for granted. And you are phenomenal. And we just hope you just continue to have a phenomenal rest of your week. And come back, hop on board on Sunday at Just Stop It, right? And bring a message, bring a friend, bring some folks. We don't mind. We got about 10 people could pop up in here just like that.
Now, one thing I did want to bring up. One thing I want to mention before we slide out of here, everybody. This is a JTI friendly disclaimer that this information in this video is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice. We are only advisors, so please be aware of that. We do not want anyone saying, we took this direction or took that direction. We do not want you to excuse doctors. We don't want you to excuse professional medical advice. We are only advisors. We're here to coach you, get the conversation going and flowing about mental health, but we are not mental health professionals. We are only advocates for mental health.
Yes.
So please do not substitute this for diagnosis. Don't substitute it for treatment or diagnosis. All content is just to be considered advice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So please, this is not a secret. This is what happens when you're up front. And this is what happens when you advocate for good mental health.
Indeed.
All right. Again, this is the Pit Stop. Stop by and Stop It this Sunday. Love you much. Peace, love, and joy.
Love y'all.
Love you, team.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Team.
Catch y'all later.
Awesome. In a while.
I love you, mommy. Bye. In a while.
Love you too,
Love you, mommy.
I love you, Professor.
Right.
Love you too, excellent one.
I'll catch y'all later, okay?
In a while.
In a while. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. But love you, mommy.
Love you, Trayvon.